Get to the chopper now! I want to welcome you back to the world of RC, and we're going to be checking out many other products too. However, we're going to be taking a close look today at the Butler, the smart robot. I do wonder why they call this smart, because at first I was looking at it, I was thinking like, okay, this is smart, does this mean it's AI related, or comes with an app that you're going to be using with Android or with iOS? Nevertheless, I think this is just a simple plug and play solution. And I must say that this thing was a little bit more expensive than I'm normally typical, like say, giving for these products. So let's do a quick unboxing. So first of all, when you're going to be looking at RC, I've noticed there are a lot of interesting products nowadays. I think like RC is absolutely an amazing world to step in now, because we can find like products for 10 bucks that are absolutely fun actually to check out. However, I did notice some really weird cheap products like $6, and we're getting like some really old school tech with not a lot of features. So that makes me really wonder, what do we get? So for the giving you an idea, I actually paid like 15 bucks for it. There's like this, I don't know if this is like the normal retail price, because I bought it from a store that actually sells random, like I think like big lots of different products. But how is it when it comes to the overall remote? So the remote is something very simple. Like there is nothing much going on. We're having 4 directional buttons, we're having program button, and it seems to be an on and off switch or something like that. Nevertheless, there's nothing really much going on here. So I already noticed that, of course, looking at the packaging, and I was thinking, okay, maybe this can be fun, or is this going to be absolutely horrible? So another thing I just noticed, like, okay, the arms, you cannot do anything with it. At first I was hoping to do something with the Butler, you can move the arms or something, but nope, that is not the case. So all of these low budget products are actually working on normal alkaline batteries. We're going to be needing 3 of them. So when it comes to the remote, I'm guessing we're going to be needing 2 of them, and sometimes it varies, having like AA or AAA. So take consideration that you do actually get more good quality batteries, because it will give you like a horrible experience if you're finding those cheap ones. And most of them, those cheap ones are fun for, like say, a simple remote, like the one we're having over here. But if you're going to be looking into, let's say, using it for the robot or the RC itself, I will always get yourself good quality batteries. So for me, I'm using A-Force, the Action. Video is not sponsored, but they're like actually one of the best ones and quite affordable. Nevertheless, the construction is very simple. We're going to be having 2 wheels, and the wheels were actually being used in a certain kind of rotation, and this way we're going to be moving forward, backward, and left and right. I was surprised of how good the LEDs look. I think it's absolutely a very cool feature, because it gives more like a dimension to the character itself. Let's turn on the remote and let's see if something is going on. So at first I did have some weird issue that I couldn't get anything to do, but you know, it's a very interesting overall configuration that we needed to do for actually getting this thing to work. Okay, so let's see what's going on. There we go. So it needed to be activated. Automatically it will, with the 2.4 gigabytes, communicate with and connect with the robot itself. And I can tell you, this thing is pretty fast, and there is no, of course, way to actually change speed. What you see is what you're getting. So the overall idea of this thing is freaking cool. And you can just see that we're going to be pressing it only once, and it will move to a certain position. So it's not like it will only like move like a couple of centimeters. It's actually going to be moving a lot. So the wheels are made of rubber, so for actually putting it on the table, this thing has some insane grip. And I must say the wiggle situation is not bad. I thought that like if this thing is going to be accelerating, it's going to be dropping. So yeah, when it comes to this tiny table that is actually holding, because it's a kind of a Butler, the overall configuration is quite simple. You're just going to be clicking it in. There was no movement, anything going on. So I was a little bit disappointed when it comes to that. So the actually plate that he's holding is of course made out of piece of plastic. It's very flexible. And if you're going to be looking how it actually works, it's going to be fitting into his arms and actually in the middle. So it's an overall very stable configuration. That of course remains the question, is like what's going on when it comes to, let's say, the overall configuration when you're going to be putting something on it. I mean, the overall way how it stands, it's kind of cool. So I don't actually see myself using this. It's like a fun novelty. So, and that's the reason I just wanted to check it out. So we also have the program mode. Let's talk about it first. So what you can do, pressing the button over here, and you can actually choose what kind of directions you want to go. So what you need to do, you have like, I think a maximum of 25 steps, but don't pay me on it. Then you're going to be pressing the button again, and here you can see it will automatically like go into a certain mode. I think this is more why they call it a smart robot. You can just program it. It's something we have seen before with other products, so it's not something brand new. I think this is like something of an easy overall thing. And you know, it's kind of cool that they actually implemented this. So only problem I have with it is that when you're going to be looking into the overall configuration of this smart situation, is that we're going to be having I think the button that we're going to be pressing, you can see, you can only like learn and play. But you know, because it's in one single button, we cannot actually say like, hey, I want to repeat this overall progress. No, you need to actually do this every single time. You need to learn, and then you can actually use it once, what I understand of. So how about the overall configuration with the Butler situation? You cannot even put like a phone on it. Of course, it's way too heavy. But you can something small like a screwdriver, or you know, something that doesn't have like a lot of weight to it. Otherwise, it will just fall over. Let's say having over here my docking station of the docking station. You can see that it actually stays on there. So that's kind of cool. Okay. And of course it falls. There is so way too much weight. Nevertheless, so this is like a fun overall, there's a thing to look at, the robot, smart robot. Yeah, I think you can do a little bit of messing around with it, but for me, I am more like an RC car guy. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of these kind of robot smart thingies? Thank you all for watching, join me here on the channel, subscribe, hit the little bell, because we're going to be doing more and more reviews of the RC world, because there is so much to see. And we will see you next time.